Israel has announced its most ambitious settlement plans to date, promising 40,000 new Israeli homes in occupied Jerusalem, Al-Quds, over the next 10 years. The announcement coincides with strong words from U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice, who called Israeli settlement building an obstacle to peace. Many of the new homes will be in the Arab neighborhoods of East Jerusalem. A spokesman for Prime Minister Ehud Olmert said settlements would remain part of Israel under any possible peace deal. The international community, including the United Nations Security Council, has never recognized Israel's settlements in the occupied territories. Meanwhile, an Israeli Knesset member says the U.S. criticism of Israeli settlement expansion plans is just words, and the United States does not do anything to stop Israel.
It seems like empty word because the United States is the biggest supporter of Israel, and Israel is building settlements all the time. United States criticize Israel all the time about settlements, but do nothing to stop Israel because of the settlement. For example, cutting the American aid or part of the American aid because of the settlements. United States is just using words and no deeds.
Increasing lawlessness in southern Afghanistan is proving to be a painful thorn in the side for Afghan President Hamid Karzai. Karzai has gone so far as to warn Pakistan that he may send troops across the border to tackle Taliban fighters based in Pakistan's tribal regions. Our correspondent Faiz Khurshid has this report.
Following the spike in the cross-border attacks in Afghanistan, Afghan government warned Pakistan of launching military attacks against insurgents inside the Pakistani territory. In a news conference in Kabul, Afghan President Hamid Karzai threatened to send Afghan troops across the border to attack the Pakistani Taliban militants in the country. Hamid Karzai has also accused the new Pakistani government of interfering in Afghanistan's internal affairs.
The Pakistani Taliban and those who support them should know that today Afghanistan is not unarmed. Today Afghanistan has both arms and courage.
Now, the U.S. President George W. Bush is continuing his farewell tour of Europe with a visit to traditional ally Britain. But differences over the divisive issue of Iraq are set to overshadow talks with British Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Media reports have indicated that Britain may be preparing to announce a timetable to withdraw its 4,200 troops from southern Iraq. But shortly before arriving in London, President Bush told a British newspaper that there should be no definitive timetable for British troops to leave. The UK defense officials have played down differences with the United States, saying that plans for withdrawal would be based on conditions on the ground. In other news, top officials from the government of Nicolas Sarkozy have traveled to Syria in the latest sign that France is looking to take a more active role in the Middle East. And Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has welcomed the overtures from France, as Samar Dada now reports. Now, bitterness and accusations continue to mar the run-up to Zimbabwe's presidential runoff vote set for June 27. The opposition movement for democratic change says President Mugabe's government is using thuggish tactics to prevent them from campaigning. Zimbabwe police have arrested opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai 5 times over the last 10 days without pressing charges. The United Nations has also accused Mugabe's supporters of orchestrating violence, in which the MDC say dozens of its supporters have been killed. Mugabe has recently threatened that war veterans would be prepared to take up arms if he lost this month's election.